Hello, I read this story many years ago when I was not good at reading. I would like to read again. If you would like to listen the previous many years ago when I read and compare, please click on the link. Tiger Son, written and illustrated by Teresa Ng, based on an ancient Chinese tale by Po Chang Ling. Once there was an elderly widow, Shenma, who lived with her only son inside a forest in the Shanxi province. Her son was one of the tiger hunters licensed by the local magistrate, following the same professions of his father and grandfather before him. His share of the profits from the sales of tiger skins, meat, and bones was sufficient to keep the small mud hut well provisioned for himself and his old mother. All was well until a particularly bitter winter. During a snowstorm, Shenma's son was separated from his fellow hunters and became food for a hungry tigress. After her initial shock and grief subsided, Shenma took stock of her own utterly desperate situation. An old woman left all alone. She went and implored the magistrate to provide her with compensation for the loss of her son, who was her only source of support. The magistrate decreed that, henceforth, she would have a small share of profits from the kill of each tiger by the hunters. Needless to say, his decision was not taken well by the hunters, who had plenty of mouths of their own to feed, both old and young. So, when the hunters succeeded in killing the tigress that ate Shenma's son, they decided not to give her a share of the profits. Instead, they brought her the tigress' newborn calf. He was a small, kifri bolt of golden fur with wobbly legs and toothless gums. The rope that tied around his neck was so tight that it would practically choke him. Instantly, Shenma's heart went out to this helpless creature, whose jet green eyes were glistening with tears. After the hunter left, the tiger calf wobbled to where Shenma sat and lay at her feet. She bent down to rub his ears, and he licked her cheeks with his soft tongue. The elderly widow looked at the tiger baby and sighed. They told me to butcher you, to salt and smoke your flesh for my meat supply. Your skin would make warm boots for my feet. Your bones are good for making tiger bone wine, to ease the pain in my joints. But, oh, how can I bear to kill you? You are so young and vital, while I am so old and frail. I don't know how to pronounce this. And so, Shenma untied the rope from the little tiger's neck and fed him a paste of cooked roots with her fingers. Her son had a good supply of greens and roots in the attached shed, and she planned to stretch the fruit out to last winter. When the store of the firewood was running low, Shenma was unable to keep her bedroll on top of the gangworm. A gangworm is a bed base built of bricks with spare for a small fire. So she slept cowering against the baby tiger, whose soft fur was cozy and warm. Once ever so often, women from nearby villages would bring sewing for Shenma to do. She was very handy with a needle. They paid her for her labor with dry venison and small sacks of grain. At first they did not find the little tiger's presence alarming. He was no bigger than a piglet. However, when spring came, He had grown into the size of a calf, showing a full set of teeth and claws. The women told their hunter husbands, and the men came to kill the young tiger. Shenma armed herself with her son's hunter spear and threatened to cut anyone who dared to harm her beloved pet. I've lost both husband and son. This tiger is the only companion I have now. I shall go to the magistrate and request to adopt him as my son. The hunters thought the old woman had become mad and jeered at her, but since she was so determined, they dared not kill her tiger without the magistrate's permission. So they followed Shenma and her tiger all the way to the office judgment hall. "Venerable mother," said the magistrate, "your request is most unusual. Are you not afraid that someday tiger might revert to his wild nature and devour you?" "Honorable sir," replied the old widow with tears in her eyes, "what is there to fear? I have lived too long. The only worry I have now is being left utterly alone. Please let me adopt this young tiger, for he has become like a son in my affections." The kindly magistrate did not have the heart to refuse such an ancient woman's pleading, so he had his assistant draw up a document for the tiger's adoption. In order to protect the tiger from the hunter's arrows and spears, the magistrate ordered a large copper pendant made to hang around the beast's neck. The words "Fu Chi" were engraved on the pendant, meaning tiger son. To show her deep gratitude, Shenma knelt down in front of the magistrate and knocked her forehead 3 times. Then she led Fuji back to their home in the forest. By next winter, Fuji had grown into his maximum size. Shenma's hut was in danger of collapsing whenever the tiger became playful. Reluctantly, she allowed Fujin to make his home inside a cave nearby. However, the affectionate tiger came back to visit his adopted mother often, always bearing a gift in his mouth, a dead deer or a large piece of tree branch. Also, he still liked to lick her shoes and to have his ears rubbed. Shenma's niece were being cared for just as if her natural son was still alive. After Shenma died, at the ripe old age, past 100, the hunters noticed Fuchen guarded her tomb nightly. They left him unmolested as he had never attacked any humans or domestic animals. This went on for a number of years, and then one day the tiger was seen no more. Out of deep respect and admiration for the filial tiger son, the hunters erected a small stone monument at Shenma's tomb with Fu Chin's story engraved on it. Henceforth, Fu Chen became a household legend in that part of Shenxi province. The end.